The creatures are in, but how does this keep happening? This is the Bermuda Rectangle, my giant tropical wetlands vivarium. Soon to connect via a glass bridge along the ceiling to my other two giant vivariums, home to a self-sustaining ecosystem of creatures. But now it was time for the Bermuda Rectangle's biggest event of all. It's time to welcome our first generation of tropical wetland creatures. The time has come for Gaia 3. Let's add our creatures in, shall we? But little did I know, a ton of life was already secretly living within the tank, including the most unexpected creature of all, a dragon that had been hiding in the cracks since the start. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC fam. Enjoy. I carefully placed the new creatures in their bags into the waters for the acclimation process before their release into their unoccupied virgin wetlands. Or at least, that's what I thought. For it turns out, these wetlands weren't as virgin as I had thought, and life was already colonizing our new wetlands kingdom with a secret Gaia event that had already happened in the Bermuda Rectangle. And boy, was I up for the surprise of a lifetime. But I was stoked and have been waiting forever for this. Let me show you the creatures I intended to populate these waters. These are shrimp, Neocaridina davidi, also known as cherry shrimp. They're cute, and I've got some stunning colors here too. These are a blood red variety, green jade, yellow, and several others. You'll see them all when they're released. They were super eager to explore the vast lands below them. But guys, I was shocked to discover that the bags didn't only contain shrimp. I shouted when I spotted these creatures. Water boatmen. These aquatic insects from the family Coryxidae have forelegs covered with hairs that are shaped like oars that help them swim around. I saw them in several bags. They were accidental inclusions, as I did not order them from the shrimp suppliers. They must have hitched a ride from the shrimp tanks. But I was happy about their secret hitchhiking, as these water boatmen would definitely be an awesome addition to our wetlands as well. Now these shrimp and water boatmen were my chosen set of first creatures to be added into the tank as part of Gaia 3, with many more aquatic creatures to be introduced over the coming weeks. As is the rule with aquaria, you must add your creatures gradually, little by little, due to something called cycling, which I'll cover in an upcoming episode. But basically, if you add too many creatures all at once, you'll end up killing everything due to ammonia buildup. So of course, I decided on these creatures to start, and stuck with the rules. But little did I know, Mother Nature had her own rules at play, because it turns out a ton of life outside these bags had already begun to claim dominion over the Bermuda Rectangle's waters below them, and even above. When the wetlands were first set up, the waters were crystal clear and beautiful. But the next day, our Bermuda Rectangle became a rather different place. It looked like this. The water had grown cloudy and not as pristine as when we first created the vivarium. The reason? A bacterial bloom. Basically, many species of bacteria rapidly multiplying. If we were to look at a drop of these waters under a microscope, we'd find tons of microbes, the first organisms to begin populating our wetlands. Though alarming for any new aquarium owner, it is actually a normal part of setting up a new tank, also called new tank syndrome. It eventually all went away in a few days. But 3 days later, once the cloudiness cleared, the next phase. No, someone didn't pee in the water. This yellowish brown color is caused by tannins leaching from the driftwood, a water tinting condition known as black water. This is again totally normal and would eventually go away over time with partial water changes and the addition of this stuff called purigen placed into the sump tank. But the slight tinting made the water look a bit more natural, so I didn't mind it for now, and it's quite beneficial for aquatic life. And man, was I surprised to discover life. And I'm not talking just microbes. Check it out. On the surface, a tiny fly-like creature floated along, allowing the currents to take it somewhere far. Random insects like these were definitely introduced via the plants, but I wanted to search for signs of life below the water. At first, there were a few points I thought I had spotted new creatures, but most of them were just debris, delivered on the currents of the waterfall. I continued searching for signs of living things around the tank, for the tiniest movement that seemed out of the ordinary. I felt as though I was visiting a new planet, searching for UAPs, i.e., unidentified aquatic phenomena. As I scanned the underwater landscape, I was mesmerized by the Bermuda Rectangle's ethereal beauty. Oh, I thought it was a worm. I hate worms. It's just some biofilm or something. And then I finally spotted life. An alien creature and an orb! Just kidding. It was a baby snail and an ostracod, a type of aquatic crustacean. More and more, I began to spot various forms of life. This here looked like an insect larva of some sort. Perhaps a beetle? Any experts out there care to identify the species? Check out this tiny area of glass. To the human eye, I saw nothing here, but my camera lens proved otherwise. Now that is a worm. Perhaps a planaria? Ew. But fact was, life was indeed beginning to seed itself into the waters, having been transported in via the decor and plants. Comes to show you how contaminated with life everything on the planet is, laying undetected until, ew! Spotted another worm. I shuddered watching it swim around and swore to myself I'd wear gloves when it came time to work around the waters to free the shrimp. But meanwhile, on the other side of the ant room, an inquiring beast was watching all the action from afar. Godzilla, our resident spectacled Caiman, stood basking on his rock with mouth open. Something in the Bermuda Rectangle had caught his attention. He was always curious about the new watery world he watched come into construction from the very beginning, but lately, it seemed as though Godzilla couldn't keep his eyes off the tank. Was he interested in moving into the new big body of water? Perhaps the addition of the new creatures he could eat? I didn't know, but I knew Godzilla's eyes were sharp and our dragon here was highly intelligent. I knew whatever he kept looking at in the Bermuda rectangle was something of great interest. But it was now time to release the critters. Let's open up these bags and set our colonizers free, shall we? I went in and began to break open the bags. More and more shrimp began to break free from the bags and began exploring the lands. They immediately went straight to work, picking at edible debris from all surfaces, sifting through the grains of sand, picking microscopic food from moss, rocks, the glass, and hopping from plant to plant like bees. It was quite incredible to watch. And soon, they were all in, and the sight of our new inhabitants within the waters took my breath away. A water boatman floated suspended for a moment as it took in its new surroundings. And with it, a friend. Seems they found each other in these vast, strange lands. Together, the pair of water boatmen began to explore their home, popping up to the surface periodically to breathe some air. They looked kind of like hovering flies with their large eyes, or alien drones floating along with the current. They were truly amazed, staring at the new world around them. And my, was it a wonderful world to now call home. The colors were stunning. It was like I was watching a flock of various colored birds flying around a lush green landscape. Blue shrimp, red shrimp, green shrimp raced to far corners of the territories to explore their new home, hoping to find organic matter to feed on from the buffet of surfaces on which they could graze. This black one was checking out my boosie. it wasn't long before the shrimp discovered this waterfall area, delivering fresh waters from the filter, but also debris from the land area, snagged by the moss. It was indeed a haven for our shrimp, and I couldn't stop staring at our new and wondrous population of multicolored crustaceans. Alrighty, Sea Family, I think you know what I'm going to ask next. What should we name our new population of shrimp? Leave your name suggestions in the comments. All of these new shrimp were my first choice for creatures to place in, as they would form the initial cleanup crew for our tropical wetlands ecosystem, as they are excellent detritivores, breaking down rotting and organic material. They, along with the boatmen, will feed on decaying plant and animal matter, biofilm, some algae, and anything they find tasty. They also breed quite easily, and I expect them to become a base food source for future creatures higher up in the food chain, much like the role roaches and crickets play in the terrestrial ecosystems of Pandora and Orcadia. So I wanted to add these shrimp in first, so they get a head start at getting a good population of shrimp going. Though they look enormously plentiful now, they'll soon find their favorite hiding places all around the territories, where they can get away from any future predators. By then, the aquatic plant life of the Bermuda Rectangle should be much more grown in, giving the shrimp more places to hide from predation. As mentioned earlier, Gaia 3 will have to take place over several weeks, instead of just one mass Noah's Ark-style release event of creatures, like in the previous Gaia events, as this would allow beneficial bacteria to develop in our sump for water cleaning, and also give our tropical wetlands ecosystem the best chance for success, as we build the food chain up slowly. Water worlds, though a much more complicated system than terrestrial worlds, are capable of some incredible possibilities for cohabiting life. We still have many more creatures I want to add in here. And let's not forget, just like in our other Vivaria, I expect to spot more introduced life here as time goes on. Overall, I was quite happy with how everything has been going so far. And I just couldn't stop staring at this awesome slice of nature we had created. I had some amazing plans ahead for the next set of creatures I had scheduled to be added in next week. Until then, I would allow our new population of shrimp to enjoy flying around their new watery home. It was then that I discovered another creature, one that Mother Nature had chosen to fly around our wetlands. I noticed a peculiar form. Hey, a lizard. At first I thought it was a large adult house gecko that snuck in via the driftwood pieces. You little bugger, welcome to the Bermuda... Wait a sec. I looked closer and soon realized, hey, that's no gecko. No way! Draco. Vote in my community tab to affect this story.